Solicitors, and great to be with you. Fast approaching 8:30 this Monday evening, and we are joined by the first of two guests joining us on the show. And we're going to speak to Ryan Thomas right now about his amazing run that has seen him do 10 Ironman Wales. So he's taken part in every single Ironman Wales that has happened. Of course, we had the 2 years where COVID meant Ironman didn't take place. Ryan Thomas, evening. Welcome to Pure West Sport. How are you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Really good, and it is great to have you on the show. I think we should start at the very beginning and your very first Ironman. And I just wondered, when you did that for the first time, did you ever envisage that you would do 10?
No, not a chance. No. It was a one-off, yeah.
Because at the beginning, you had to take swimming lessons, didn't you? Because you weren't confident doing that element, and I wouldn't be either, because it's an open water swim. We know what the currents are like in Tenby. It can be choppy. What was that like, Ryan? How did you have to start?
Well, it first started off with Physical Ed Centre. I thought I'd go and try some lessons with Physical Ed Centre, but to be told I don't think I'd ever make an Ironman by a certain instructor. So then that brought me on really to just buying a wetsuit, jumping in the sea, and my daughter used to follow me along the breakwater just to make sure I was able to get home. And that's how it all started, really.
It's phenomenal. Go on, Fraser.
Yeah, right. I know. Good to speak to you again, by the way. I know you say you've done all 10. It's actually, I think, spread over 12 years, if I'm right, isn't it? With obviously the two postponed years due to COVID and so on. You know, if any changes, obviously the course hasn't changed the same. Has anything changed to you, your approach to it over that decade?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say through COVID has changed. Obviously, you're learning as you're going along. Before, I probably just had so much to think about before, like never really taken into cycling, running, or swimming, really. So I was so focused on just learning those disciplines and really forgetting about nutrition side of things. So then after a couple of bad races, it got me looking into more side of nutrition side of things. That's really where it's changed for me along the years, mainly.
And was there any doubt in your mind, mate? Because I know originally when we spoke and going back a couple of years now, you wanted to do the 10th, and you had thoughts about maybe, I would say, quitting on that one. I don't believe you. I don't believe you now, but that was your original plan was to walk away after the 10th. And then, of course, we had the COVID postponement, and then the following year it was postponed again, and what would have been a 1 year build up to a race ended up being a 3 year. Was there any doubt in your mind over that period, that long debated period, that you might walk away from it before doing that 10th?
No, I was always committed to be getting to that 10th at that time. COVID probably took the edge off it a little bit. It'd be nice to hit those 10 in a row.
Yeah,
so it was quite challenging to keep the training going, but luckily I was following good plans, so able to keep me going, really.
Cool. Yeah, Ryan, I remember you in your footballing days at Goodwick. Tenacious little player you were as well, to be fair. No, what I'm going to say is obviously training for football compared to what you're doing now is totally different. You're now an athlete. How did you find the transition from football to becoming a triathlete? And you also said that you could hardly swim, so you had to learn that as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I've always been quite a fit boy anyway. I always liked sort of the endurance side of things after going in the army and sort of thing. So I think the endurance side of things was not a problem for me. Obviously, I could run all day in the football pitch.
Yeah.
I just had to obviously transfer that to the road. But yeah, I think it was okay. Obviously, the swim was a challenge. So you're just learning new skills. Besides that, no, I found it okay.
The bit I'm interested in, just jump in for a sec. The bit I'm interested in is the transitions as well, Ryan. So when you come out of the water and you're faced with 112 miles then on the bike, how are you feeling at that point?
Relieved.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm actually buzzing getting onto the bike. It's probably one of my strongest disciplines, really, to be fair. I enjoy it a lot. It's where I make up a lot of ground, really, and really start getting into the swing of things, really, and start to soak up the atmosphere a lot more. I'm really quite anxious for the swim. So, yeah, it's my
all right,
best,
then.
my best
So
part.
when you did 112 miles on the bike, and then you've got a marathon to run. How's that bit?
That's a different kettle of fish. I say when you're still on that bike, it's when you're coming off that last into T2 and you dismount off the bike, and it's those first couple of 10, 15, 20 yards where you sort of like, yeah, I'm going to keep running into this, and that's where you find out really whether your run is going to go well or not. And luckily, I think I've been quite lucky over the years. It's always been those first 10 or 15 yards have been quite not so painful, really.
Go on, Gordon.
What about times then, Ryan? Obviously, have they improved over the years, or as you're getting older, you're starting to go back a bit?
I'd like to say I'm getting quicker, but there's always things that get in the way.
Yeah,
it's never the same. It's never the same race. You've always got your challenges, your hurdles, your injuries. Like you said,
do you ever hit that wall as well, then, Ryan? Have you hit the wall where you, I'm done. I don't know if I can do any more.
I would never say I've never hit the wall where I never quit. It's always been I've hit the wall where I've had to break into a walk. But never come to myself where I'm never going to get to that finish line. Yeah,
great attitude.
Right, I remember speaking to the finish line one year, and I asked about what kept you going in that particular race, and you just pointed at the crowd and said this. I should always remember that. And it's not just a cliche, is it, when you talk about the atmosphere in Tembe? It's something that all around the world talk about when they come. Unless you've actually experienced racing in an Ironman with those crowds behind you, is it possible to even fathom just what it's like and how much it drives you on?
I don't think it is. It's the emotion that it brings throughout the day. It's just fantastic, and that sense of achievement you get at the end. You got maybe 1,000 people at the finishing line, and you don't even know, nowhere near like 99% of them, but they're all giving it their best. They all support you well. It's just it's great. It's absolutely fantastic.
You think again, without trying to sound like a cliche, do you think it drives a lot of athletes to the finish? Do you think if it was done almost behind closed doors?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm relieved to get out of town, to be honest with you, because it gives you such an achievement to be able to keep running through town, because you've got your family, your friends and everything. So it absolutely drives you through town. And it's when you get out of town, you can sort of relax a little bit more. And then the crowds just drive you around town again. Okay, right, I've got to get back up that hill again. And they just repeat, and it never gets any less. Like lap 1 is the same as lap 4. It's really great support.
How good an event has Ironman Wales become for Pembrokeshire, Ryan? It's a massive thing now, isn't it? And so well established on the calendar.
It is. I think it's probably beyond my knowledge how big of a race it actually is throughout the Ironman calendar, really. The only thing I can say is probably how challenging it is. It definitely attracts a different crowd to a lot of the other races. So hopefully that doesn't wear thin, really, because it is a challenging course. I just hope the fact that people still keep coming up to Wales to accept the challenge, really, of Ironman Wales.
I'm quite interested because you know the course pretty well now, having done it 10 times. What's the worst part across all 3 disciplines? What's the worst part of the hardest part, the bit that gives you nightmares at Ironman Wales, right?
The only bit that sticks in the back of my mind is lap 3 going up the hill. It's just, I don't know, I've had a mental block of it for a long, long time. Until 2016, really, where I actually broke the chain, where I didn't have to walk up the hill for the 3rd time. And I think, again, that's where I got nutrition right and all that sort of thing. So when you've got that bit right, it's great, all of it.
I think the big question we need to ask, you've done 10. Number 11, fancy it?
I always fancy it. always fancy it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's things get in the way. I'm not going to go into all that sort of side of things, but yeah, it's time to just to concentrate on other things really.
But even aside from Ironman, right, I know you're actually very busy in swimming coaching as well, and your daughter, I believe, is doing very well in that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from your point of view, obviously you don't just go from doing 10 Ironman to doing nothing. Even if you don't go back to the 10B race, you continue to compete and take part in maybe lesser events, and by lesser I mean lesser distance events.
Yeah, that's my aim. Hopefully I'm not too old now to get faster, but my aim is now to concentrate on the middle distance.
Yeah.
They are my favourite race. You can push that a little bit harder. So that's my aim now in the next season, is to concentrate on the middle distance racing. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Plenty of course back about after COVID now, and it's a full calendar again around here, which is nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Well, listen, Ro, it's brilliant to talk to you tonight. It's inspirational hearing your story as well. I did read the piece you did with Fraser on pembrokeshiresport.co.uk a few years ago, and I liked how Fraser signed it off, which was it was a football reference, Fraser, wasn't it? Didn't Ryan once make a comment to you about that when you were going up against each other in central midfield? Was it who was that? Was that Goodwick against Solver?
Goodwick against Solver, yeah. Told me I better be ready to run all day, and you weren't lying.
Did he get near you, Ryan? Did he get near you?
He's got a better memory of me, to be honest with you.
The thing is, he said that to everyone, so it wouldn't stick in his mind.
Good stuff. Well, listen, Ryan, well done on making it 10 at Ironman Wales earlier this year. It's a phenomenal effort. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And when you do decide when number 11 might come along, you have to come back on and tell us. We'd love to hear about it.
I definitely will.
Excellent stuff. We will take a moment. We'll be back for the final part of Pure West
Thank you, Ryan.
We've got Diaries joining us, and we'll look ahead to the World Cup. We'll do that next on Pure West.
Pure West Sport